Man, she's so mad that she left me for my cousin. Hello? Oh, hi, Animal Planet. Yes. So I wanted to talk to you about something. So, as you know, our episode about the chupacabra was a success. We got a bunch of views, we got a bunch of audience, and guess what? I think we can take this show to the next level. How about this? Our next episode is gonna be about Bigfoot. That's right, we're gonna make an episode about Bigfoot, okay? Now, we're gonna make this really great, okay? We're gonna go to the mountain, we're going to the forest, we're gonna get a cabin, we're gonna get an extremely attractive woman to play the main character, and trust me, it's gonna be really great, it's gonna be really good. I just need a decent sized budget to make this episode work. I'll probably say about like 5 to 10 grand, and then yeah, that's it. We can definitely make this work. What do you say? What? $2? You're giving me a $2 budget? What the heck am I supposed to do with that? No, screw you. I can't work with a $2 budget. You're gonna fire me and replace me with my cousin who my ex went with? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can make it work with a $2 budget. Yeah, okay. Yes, that's right. We're back with another episode of the Lost Tapes series, and today we're gonna be talking about
Lost Tapes. Bigfoot.
I was gonna do something funny for this episode where I just wear a Bigfoot costume throughout the entirety of this episode when I'm on screen, but I don't know if you noticed this, but my skin seems shinier than usual. And that's not any lotion or soap I put on. That is sweat. That's right, it is sweat because it is hot right now. It is extremely hot right now. So I couldn't put on the Bigfoot costume because I didn't want to risk having a heat stroke while making this episode. Oh, and if you hear a sound in the background, that's not audio diarrhea. That's my AC trying to make my apartment much cooler. Granted, it's not doing a very good job at that, but I mean, it's better than nothing. Anyways, let's get right into this episode. On October 3rd, 2008, during the time of world peace and everyone losing their houses, Lost Tapes not only released their episode about the chupacabra, but they also released an episode about the one and only Bigfoot. I do actually like how this episode starts because it actually does add hype to Bigfoot, because Bigfoot is quite honestly one of the most well-known and recognizable cryptids in not just the United States, but probably the whole world. And considering one of the things that I like to make fun of this show about in terms of its low budget, I always like to make fun of its low budget. Even with the limited resources they have, they actually managed to still actually create some huge hype behind Bigfoot in the intro of this episode.
Feet tall, weighing about 800 pounds, and being presumably covered with hair. And this, of course, is an exact description of the living Sasquatch.
911, what are you reporting?
We got something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal?
I can't tell.
He is known to rip people apart if he gets a chance.
What do you think they ought to do about him?
Kill him. He might hurt somebody.
It was walking very much like a human.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him. Get somebody out here.
So we meet our main character Rachel, who is assigned to monitor black bear population in her area since it's been decreasing. And in the very beginning, we actually do see why the black bear population has been decreasing in that area. Shortly after hearing a black bear gets shot, she hears this weird and strange sound that it's supposed to be Bigfoot, but if anything, it actually kind of sounds like the audio from found footage tapes of Slender Man. However, one of the issues I had with the first episode comes back and rears its ugly head in this episode, and that is these random information dumps that just come out of nowhere. Now, I get this one can sort of get a pass since it talks about poaching and it kind of gives perspective as to why our main character Rachel is there.
On record.
The bodies of 4 black bears were found today, abandoned by the side of County Road 18.
But it's like, dude, you don't need to keep hammering into our face about the dangers of poaching and why it's bad. We get it. We get it right. You only need to tell it to us once and that's it. But, of course, just like the first episode, this isn't the only time that this information dump about poaching comes out. Whoa! This girl got caught the same way I catch women. Whoa! She's getting watched the same way I watch women! So as if you couldn't tell, Rachel is getting stalked by one of the poachers in the forest with her. And the trap that she gets caught on is basically one of the poacher's traps. And she does talk about it right here in this video call. And it just looks like crap. I'm sorry, it just looks like total crap. And it really does show the low budget of this show. I know this is 2008 and video calls, Skype, and things like that looked like crap back then, but I just feel like it really does showcase the low budget of this show, and I just think that you didn't really need to use a video camera or specifically a computer camera for this part. Like, you could just shot it with your regular camera and then try to add like things in the bottom or things around the screen to make it look like an actual computer camera, because like I said, it just looks like total crap.
I disabled it and will continue to disable any snares that I come across.
Whoa, this guy watches women at their homes the same way I watch women at their home. Okay, I'm done. I'm done saying those jokes. I promise I won't make those jokes again.
I've been hearing some strange noises that I can't identify with any of the wildlife in this area.
No duh, Bigfoot sounds weird. What do you think he sounds like, the fat lady? Guys, I think I hear Bigfoot. Listen closely. Yeah, that's definitely Bigfoot.
I will continue to monitor it with video and audio surveillance.
Guys, it's freaking Bigfoot! Oh, shoot! It's freaking Bigfoot! Oh, shoot! Think about what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next?
I was coming down north on this road here, and I heard some noise screaming back in here. And the noise that was coming from that creature was on the recorder here.
I do actually appreciate when they describe what Bigfoot is exactly, and they describe him as being a Gigantopithecus, which was basically a large bipedal primate that existed tens of thousands of years ago in North America. So it does actually provide some like backstory and lets the audience know exactly.
Bit too much like us for our own comfort.
It's a fair presumption that this was an erect bipedal animal, standing perhaps 8 feet tall, weighing about 800 pounds, and being presumably covered with hair. And this, of course, is an exact description of the living Sasquatch.
Oh, so like your typical basement dweller.
Excerpt, Rachel Glenn's Field Journal, August 6, 2005. Rachel disabled more traps near the Northeast Basin. Cable snares, identical settings. She suspected it to be the work of the same poacher.
Hey, where there's a will, there's a way, you know what I mean? Okay, you know what? This might sound weird, but I think it's time for this poacher to just finally go and talk to Rachel. Just go to Rachel and be like, hey, you know, Rachel, I've been just watching you from the bushes, and I just think that maybe we should go out. You know what I mean? We should probably just go out. And Rachel's gonna be like, what? You've been watching me in the forest? Like, what the heck is wrong with you? And like, I don't know. I don't think there's anything weird about that. But I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to like, go out to dinner? Like, maybe we can create an OnlyFans together. You know what I mean? It's at this moment when we finally see the poacher, and yeah, I could definitely see why he doesn't want to approach Rachel. Rude. Hey, you know what? I feel like this episode's in need of a new shakeup. How about more facts about poachers? Did you not talk about poachers in your first information drop of this episode? How are there more facts about poachers? I'm telling you, this is definitely one of the big issues with this series. Like I said, sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they actually add some intriguing things, and what's actually funny is that there's going to be an information drop that comes out later on in this episode that I actually think is very useful to this episode, but the placement of it is the problem, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Admits she herself is disturbed by the strange sounds. There's something out there, she writes.
The thing that's out there is love, baby. On a side note, I am starting to wonder, how does Rachel not know that this is Bigfoot? I mean, just look at these photos. Like, upon looking at this, like, how do you not know that's Bigfoot? Like, if someone showed me these photos, I would immediately know that that's Bigfoot. And also, how have you not seen the poacher on surveillance? Like, after all, she's out there in the woods by herself. Doesn't she have some type of system that allows her to monitor the surveillance cameras? It's kind of like how you can do in Five Nights at Freddy's or something like that. Like, how has she not seen the poacher by this point? That's like, I don't know, that's definitely like a weird plot hole that they didn't address in this episode. So Rachel is walking until she spots a broken camera, and it's kind of implied that it was Bigfoot that did it.
Well, something appears to have tampered with camera 7. This camera is 9 feet off the ground. It does not look like the work of a bear here.
Which, again, you could just look at the surveillance on your computer. We know you have one because of the crappy camera quality that you have at your cabinet. Just look at the surveillance in there, and then you'll know who broke your camera. Hey, you know what this episode needs more of? More info drops. Although I will say this one actually is a little bit better than the other ones, because this one actually does show personal testimonies of people who have spotted Bigfoot.
I know what bear look like, what they smell like, what they sound like. This was not a bear.
As I got a little bit closer, I noticed it was walking very much like a human, and the height had to have been maybe 7.5 feet tall.
I think this one actually does work a little bit better, and I think the show actually does better when it's talking about personal testimonies that people have had with seeing the cryptid, or when these facts come at the right time. And when they come during like climax moments or anything like that, it just completely kills the tone and just takes the attention away. But I think if they're placed at the right moment in the episode, then I think that's when they can actually serve the episode really well. But a lot of times, as you noticed, they don't really do that. So Rachel decides to take a vial of fur, but then hears a sound and runs over and actually spots Bigfoot.
What the hell? What's that?
Oh my god, guys, it's Bigfoot! It's Bigfoot! Oh my goodness, guys, did you guys like how you can finally saw Bigfoot? Did you guys finally like how you saw Bigfoot? Well, guess what? What have I told you? That's the only time Bigfoot comes out on camera. I don't get it. Did the studio not have enough money to rent the Bigfoot costume out for more than a day? Like, what was your budget for this episode? You're giving me a $2 budget? Oh yeah, I forgot. So we finally get to Lostapes Revelations, where they talk about this book called The Wilderness Hunter that was by former President Theodore Roosevelt. And in this book, he essentially tells a story about these two trappers who were essentially attacked by Bigfoot, and one even killed by Bigfoot.
In his 1893 book, The Wilderness Hunter, President Theodore Roosevelt wrote of two trappers who were reportedly stalked, and one of them killed, by a tall bipedal creature with a strong wild beast odor. Some believe it was the first written account of Bigfoot killing a human.
I decided to do some research myself to see if this was true. And yeah, so there was a book called The Wilderness Hunter in 1893 by Theodore Roosevelt. And basically the story is about like his time in the mountains, like hunting and doing all this stuff. And apparently, yes, there is actually a section in the book that actually talks about Bigfoot. And a lot of people actually think this is the first encounter with Bigfoot, the first part of Bigfoot in American literature. And apparently, like, yeah, they talk about, he refers to it as the creature, the encounter, Roosevelt's perspective. So yeah, actually this part that they talk about is indeed true. So Rachel continues to run until she comes across a cave with weird belongings and fur.
Oh my god, my camera.
Wow, this is really spooky and interesting. Hopefully we get to get more of this ant
creature, i.e. Bigfoot, peered its head out from behind the tree. I believe it was curious.
Of all the great apes, the gorilla is the largest species, and they're often described as intelligent.
You know, credit where credit is due. This information drop and the last one that's going to come later on, yes, there still is one more information drop, actually does play a role into the story, but the problem is that it comes really late into the story. So this information drop is about the connection that Gigantopithecus and gorillas have with each other, that they're apparently like you know, through evolution and all that right there. But it would have been much better if this came out earlier in the episode, because this kind of gives away what's gonna end up happening, especially the last info drop. The last info drop essentially just blatantly screams it to your face what's gonna end up happening. But I just think this info drop would have been much better if it just came earlier on in the episode. So Rachel talks to the game warden as he tells her about hostile poachers in the area, as well as the fur that she recovered, all while the poacher stalks her from the outside.
I got a couple things here, Rachel. First off, the lab had a question about that hair sample you sent in. But there's no chance of contamination on that, is there?
Why do you ask?
Turns out it's not a bear. It's more like a primate or something. That's not the main reason I needed to speak with you. Listen, we got some info about hostile poachers up there. Right now, you're the only one I got covering that entire area. I might need to get you out of there sooner than we planned.
Again, why doesn't Rachel look at her surveillance or anything like that? Why doesn't the game warden tell Rachel to look at her surveillance? Because then they'll be able to see that, oh shoot, not only is there Bigfoot out there, but there's this poacher that is literally stalking her in the middle of the forest, and we gotta get you out of there ASAP, which does happen. They do end up telling her that they need to get her out of there ASAP, but it's like, can you at least just look at the surveillance so that you know what exactly you're up against?
Well, just keep me informed. Let me know what you find out.
All right, Rachel. I'll get back to you shortly.
Bye.
Rachel! Why would you do that? Throughout the entire episode, this poacher has basically had the advantage of Rachel not knowing that he was there. So it added a layer of vulnerability to Rachel. If the poacher wants to do something like stopping Rachel from destroying his traps, why is he letting her know of his presence? That is quite possibly one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. Wouldn't you want to remain unknown so that then you can just drive Rachel insane and make her want to leave so that then you can continue poaching? Like, how dumb is this guy? So Rachel needs to wait out 36 hours while being stalked by this poacher, which she is now aware is in the area because this poacher is just a freaking idiot of some type.
Miss Rachel, there you are. Where'd you go?
You looking for me?
How did Rachel sneak around without being noticed? I had to go back and rewatch this scene, and I counted 11 seconds from the last time she's seen at the window to appearing right behind the poacher. Let's count together, shall we?
Where'd you go?
You looking for me?
So a standoff occurs between Rachel and the poacher, with the poacher somehow getting away from Rachel?
Give me the camera.
You want this? Come get it.
Give me the camera. Down on the ground.
Women, am I right?
Women.
So Rachel now feels vulnerable after seeing all the video clips of the poacher stalking her, and she even takes more photos of Bigfoot, which, again, look at these photos and tell me that you don't think this is Bigfoot. It's at this time when we get our 6th info drop, and it's about the bond between a gorilla and a human female. Like, apparently there was a story about a woman that had grown a bond with a gorilla, or I guess, you know, it was actually the other way around. The gorilla had grown a bond with the human female.
Since they study.
This would actually be good info if it was earlier in the story. This would, in a sense, sort of foreshadow what's gonna happen later on in the story. But because it comes out so later in the story, it pretty much gives away what's gonna happen. It's pretty much being like, hey, this is how it's gonna end. This is how the episode's gonna end. So Rachel is doing a video diary until she's interrupted by the poacher.
Had an earlier encounter with a poacher.
Rachel! I told you not to mess with me! Hey there!
Oh, God!
Hey!
I will shoot you! I am not afraid to shoot you!
Talking to you, I see
Get
you
the
in there!
out and get them!
Well, why are you pointing the gun inside your cabin? The poacher is outside. The threat is outside. Point the gun to the door, to the walls. Don't point it inside your cabin. Like, what the heck? Is this woman freaking dumb? But luckily her stupidity is bailed out when the poacher is heard being attacked outside. Rachel walks outside and sees the poacher dead and hanging, and it's heavily implied that Bigfoot killed the poacher.
August 14th. There's been some sort of an attack. Oh God. Oh God.
However, the episode does end on a happy note, with it stating that the black bear population is finally thriving again.
Rachel Glenn's final report included an encouraging assessment of a now thriving black bear population. Every year, more Bigfoot sightings are reported across the world. There is no final conclusion as to whether he is a benevolent soul or a monster of the woods. As with so many other hidden creatures, we are left to wonder, do they live among us?
Among us? Among us! Among us! And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please support this channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. I'm gonna get out of this heat now because it is freaking hot right now. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today's video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.